By the way, I like that you're both matching in navy.
Oh, thank
It's a good
you.
look. It's a very sweet father.
We're very handsome.
Yeah, very handsome pair.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell, who is well known for his witty and no-nonsense approach on talent shows, and Lauren Silverman, who is his partner, have recently been confronted with an emotional moment that caught them off guard. Both of them were overcome with emotion as they witnessed the transformation that their son, Eric Cowell, had undergone. There was more to this transformation than just a change in appearance. The change was so profound that it reached the very center of their hearts. To be more specific, what exactly are these alterations that have everyone, including Simon, taken aback? We invite you to join us in this video as we discuss the story that lies behind this unexpected change and the reasons why it has left such an impression on this well-known couple. For years, Simon Cowell has been a dominant and important figure on television, guiding and criticizing performers with his keen eyes and straightforward approach. However, this change was not something that anyone saw coming. Behind the scenes, he has consistently exerted a great deal of effort in order to give his son, Eric, a life that is normally lived. The transformation that would take place in their family, however, was something that no one could have possibly predicted. It was not merely something fundamental that could be disregarded or a new hobby. Rather, it was a profound change that conveyed a great deal of information about maturing, overcoming adversity, and discovering one's place in the world. His parents, Simon Cowell and Lauren Silverman, have been overcome with emotion as a result of the recent transformation that Eric Philip Cowell has undergone. This kind of change was not anticipated by anyone, and nobody even saw it coming. On the other hand, this transformation has brought to light a facet of Simon that is rarely observed. In the span of just 10 years since his birth, Eric has not only undergone significant transformations, but his journey of self-discovery has also fundamentally altered the world around him. Simon Cowell is a well-known American television personality, businessman, and record executive who hails from England. As a judge on talent shows, he is well known for his candid and straightforward commentary, which is frequently blunt, on a variety of talent competitions that are broadcast on television. His role as a judge on various talent competitions, including Pop Idol, American Idol, The X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, and America's Got Talent, brought him a great deal of fame. When we look back at Simon's life before Lauren came into it, we see that he was well known for his strong and unwavering dedication to his career. With a number of talent shows under his belt and a reputation for being one of the most difficult judges in television, he had established himself as a formidable figure in the entertainment industry. His empire had been built. In contrast to the success he experienced in his professional life, his personal life was a lot more difficult. As was mentioned earlier, Simon has always been known to be fully invested in his work. He has stated that he did not want anything to interfere with his work, and he has never seen himself as a parent. He has revealed that he never planned to have a child, adding that his lifestyle did not allow for any room for that. Simon and Eric have a child together. Simon had made it abundantly clear for a considerable amount of time that union was not on his agenda. He has stated in interviews that he would rather concentrate on his career than on getting married. He has done this on multiple occasions. It appeared as though Simon was content to enjoy life as a successful single man, navigating the highs and lows of the entertainment industry without the added complexities of marriage. He appeared to be content with enjoying his life. Many people, including his friends and acquaintances, made jokes about the fact that he was more likely to invest in the next big talent than to tie the knot. However, here is the unexpected turn of events. The moment that everyone believed they had Simon figured out, life threw a curveball in their direction. A pregnancy announcement was made, revealing that Lauren Silverman was expecting his child. The news caused shockwaves to travel through the media, with headlines buzzing about the fact that a famous bachelor had become a father. How is it possible for a man who has made it an open declaration that he does not want to get married to suddenly be making preparations to have another child? It was a question that was being asked by everyone. Nevertheless, the public was not in the least bit surprised by the big reveal. At the time that Lauren became pregnant with Simon, she was still living with her husband, who is now her ex-husband. This fact contributed to the shock that people felt. Because of this, people received the news with a mixture of excitement and disbelief during the reception. In the beginning, Simon had a difficult time accepting the fact that he would soon become a father. Nevertheless, he had come to terms with the concept, and he started to experience a great deal of excitement about the fact that he was going to become a father, and that people could change and develop. Simon continued to maintain that marriage was not something that he required, despite the fact that he had experienced a life-altering event, which was the unexpected delivery of the news to him when he was already 54 years old. But when it became public knowledge that he was going to marry Lauren Silverman, it marked the beginning of an unexpected new chapter in his life experience. This turn of events has resulted in alterations that no one could have foreseen whatsoever, not only for Simon but for his entire family, including his son, Eric Cowell, who is also included in this category. What exactly are those shifts that nobody anticipated happening? That is the question. In what significant way did the history of Simon and Lauren play a part in the development of their son's identity, which was a revelation to them? In no way would you guess. In order to find out, stay tuned. An explanation of the history of the couple's relationship began in 2013, when Simon started a relationship with Lauren Silverman, a woman who would eventually alter his perspective on love and family. He was introduced to his future spouse, a socialite from New York City who was already married. However, this did not prevent them from having an affair, which ultimately resulted in her divorce in 2013, when she became pregnant with Simon's child. It was a shock to Simon, who had a difficult time accepting the idea of becoming a father at first. In the beginning, Simon and Lauren's friendship appeared to be completely innocent. Nevertheless, as time progressed, it became abundantly clear that the depth of their connection was increasing. It was impossible to deny the undeniable chemistry that existed between the two of them, which garnered interest and even gossip in the media. When it was revealed that Lauren was expecting Simon's child, the nature of their relationship quickly became a topic of discussion for everyone. This was especially true when it was revealed that Lauren was giving birth to Simon's child. When Simon's long-standing position and decision regarding marriage and commitment were taken into consideration, many people were taken aback by the surprising revelation. There was a lot of speculation and opinions floating around in the tabloids, and everyone was trying to figure out what this meant for the nature of the relationship between Simon and Lauren. Simon, on the other hand, discovered that he was deeply immersed in a variety of distinct feelings. Initially, the idea of becoming a father was so overwhelming that it drove me crazy. The fact that he was forced to face a reality that compelled him to reassess and rearrange his priorities was a consequence of the fact that he was known for his no-nonsense attitude. A moment of truth and introspection, it was a moment that would ultimately alter the path that his life would take from that point forward. As soon as the initial shock subsided, Simon started to feel excited about the prospect of becoming a father. In an open and honest manner, he expressed his emotions, revealing that he was experiencing a mixture of fear and excitement regarding this new phase of his life. Someone who has frequently stated that he was not prepared for such responsibilities underwent a significant transformation as a result of this encounter. During the time that Simon was getting ready for the birth of his son, his life took a different turn. Together with Lauren, he worked to establish a nurturing environment, with the primary goal of constructing a family unit that is filled with love. As they went through this process together and supported each other through the highs and lows, their relationship grew stronger and stronger for the better. In February of 2014, Eric Cowell was born, and by that time, Simon's life had been irrevocably altered. When he finally got the chance to hold his son for the first time, he was overcome with feelings of love and responsibility. It seemed as if all of the barriers that he had constructed around himself started to fall down, and in their place was a newly discovered yearning to be a passionate and devoted father. The man who had previously been reluctant to make commitments was now starting to take on a role that required love, patience, and sacrifice. Even though becoming a father brought Simon and Lauren a great deal of happiness, they were not without their share of difficulties. There was a never-ending stream of scrutiny from the media. Every action that they took was scrutinized, and it seemed as though their relationship was being followed like a microscope at all times. It was questioned by critics whether Simon was truly prepared to settle down and how he would manage to maintain a healthy balance between his demanding career and his family life. Simon was well aware of other people's opinions and the rumors that circulated about him. On numerous occasions, he voiced his dissatisfaction with the manner in which the media portrayed his relationship, and he insisted that his love for Lauren was genuine. Simon was motivated to improve his relationship with his partner as a result of his transformation as a father. The realization that everything that they had been through over the course of the previous 2 years had altered their lives in a multitude of ways was something that he expressed. He also stated that family is the most important thing in the world, and that his relationship with Lauren has become a priority. He started to be grateful for the simple things in life, such as bedtime stories, family outings, and even the chaos that comes with being a parent. During each of their experiences, their connection became stronger, and Simon even became aware of a facet of himself that he had been unaware of previously. Let's fast forward to the year 2021, when Simon once again shocked the world by announcing that he was engaged to Lauren. Simon popped the question to Lauren while they were on a romantic vacation in Barbados. They were both experiencing a moment of great significance, which marked the beginning of a new phase in their journey. It was evidence for Simon of how far he had come from his earlier perspectives on marriage after he had experienced it. In ways that he could not have conceived of, he had acquired the ability to embrace love, commitment, and family. Simon Cowell and Lauren Silverman have a history that is filled with love, transformation, and unexpected turns involving their relationship. However, how does this unexpected turn of events lead to Eric's shocking transformation, which causes his parents to break down in tears? It is about to become clear to you. Stay tuned to find out how the influence of Eric altered the relationship between their family. Before Eric Cowell underwent his transformation, the dynamic of the family was always centered on Simon's hectic schedule and Lauren's role in supporting both of them. However, Eric's transformation brought about a change in the dynamic. On the other hand, everything changed after Eric's actions were brought to light. The conversations that took place at the dinner table were no longer about Simon's most recent television show or the most recent celebrity gossip, as it is safe to say. Instead, the family started looking into new ways to give back to the community, support each other's passions, and make time for activities that brought them closer together. The way that Simon viewed life and his work was also altered as a result of this change. In spite of the fact that he was notoriously difficult to persuade, he found himself looking at his son with refreshing interest. It was not about receiving praise or attention from the media. It was about Eric's sincere desire to carry out acts of kindness. Simon even started to tell his son stories about the challenges he faced when he was growing up, which paved the way for more in-depth conversations between the two of them. The passing of Simon's mother, Julie, occurred approximately 1 year after Eric was born. Throughout his childhood, Simon maintained a special relationship with both of his parents, but especially with his mother. She was someone he could consult for guidance, and despite the fact that he became famous and wealthy, he continued to maintain a close relationship with her. Julie played a role in Simon's life that was not particularly noticeable but nonetheless significant. She was there to provide Simon with direction and assistance whenever he required it. In spite of the fact that she was not the type of person who enjoyed being in the spotlight herself, she had a profound understanding of Simon's drive and ambition, which is what prompted her to encourage him to pursue his career path in the entertainment industry. Simon has always spoken fondly of the strength and wisdom that his mother instilled in him, and her faith in him was a significant factor in the development of his career. As a result, Simon was dealt a devastating blow when his mother passed away in 2015. It was obvious that her passing had left a profound emotional scar, despite the fact that he frequently preferred to keep his personal life private. The loss of her was a painful experience for him because of the incredible closeness he shared with her. Despite the fact that Simon is known for his calm demeanor, he was visibly affected by her loss, and for a period of time, it appeared to affect his tough exterior. This demonstrates to those who knew him that beneath his self-assured and occasionally intimidating personality was a person who deeply cherished his family. In his statement, Simon stated that after the death of his parents, he had the belief that he would never again experience love of that magnitude for another person. However, Eric entered his life, and ever since then, he has been unable to conceive of a life in which he does not have him. To him, he is the most incredible thing that has ever occurred in his life. The loss of his parents was the most challenging experience he had to go through in his life. However, Eric's birth ultimately saved him from what he referred to as a downward spiral. Simon has been very forthcoming about the extent to which he adores his son, and it appears that becoming a father has softened him in a variety of ways. He has stated that due to the presence of Eric in his life, he has gained a better understanding of the significance of family to him. He went so far as to give his son Eric the name of his own father. It was his father who provided him with the father-son relationship when he was a young child, and he expressed his desire to recreate that relationship. What he is putting a lot of effort into is establishing the same relationship with his son that he has had throughout the years. A common topic of conversation for Simon is the profound impact that becoming a father had on him. Prior to the arrival of Eric, his entire life revolved around doing work, producing television shows, and being the most intelligent person in the room. However, Eric's birth provided him with a completely fresh viewpoint. When I first started working, the long hours and the pressures of my job were not nearly as significant as they had been in the past. It was only when Simon was with his son that he experienced a level of happiness that he had never experienced before. Eric revealed to him a new facet of life, one that was gentler, more satisfying, and profoundly emotional in ways that Simon had not anticipated. In addition to that, the next thing that Eric did to Simon will leave you speechless. Eric assisted Simon in navigating through the more negative feelings that he was experiencing as a result of the death of his mother. When Eric came along, he changed the narrative of his life, which had reached a point where nothing really mattered. There is something about the simple joy of watching a child grow that has the ability to help soothe even the most intense grief. Simon's world was given a newfound sense of lightness as a result of Eric's laughter, his curiosity, and the fact that he needed Simon exactly as he needed him. During the formative years of Eric's life, Simon was able to redirect his attention away from the things he had lost and toward the things he felt he had gained. The presence of Eric was like a beacon of light that helped him emerge from the haze of melancholy by providing him with a sense of hope and a future that he could invest his efforts in. It was through his relationship with Eric that Simon started to rediscover who he was. Not only was he the Hollywood star Simon Cowell, but he was also the man who was grieving the loss of his mother. It was becoming increasingly clear that the role he played as Eric's father was the most significant one he had ever played. Being a father provided him with a sense of fulfillment that was unparalleled by any other experience. Despite the fact that his career was a significant component of who he was, he came to the realization that it was not everything. However, the love that he felt for Eric was able to fill the void that his grief had left behind. Because of his presence, Simon was reminded that there was still a great deal of joy to be discovered, and that there was still a great deal to live for. When you are responsible for a young child who looks up to you with complete and utter dependence, it is difficult to remain mired in a state of depression. As a result, rather than constantly dwelling on the past, Simon began to look forward to all of the moments that he would be able to share with his son as he grew older. In comparison to the person he was 10 years ago, he claims to be a very different person now. But Simon has made it clear that he would be delighted to have another child, and that he genuinely loves and takes pleasure in the role of a father. Who knows what would have happened if Eric had been born, but there is no telling what would have happened. Eric, who serves as the link between Lauren and Simon, is frequently the one who tells the story of their relationship, which demonstrates how much both of them love their son. It is an established fact that Lauren has centered her life on the concept of being present for both her partner and her child. She was also excited about the opportunity to be a mother, while simultaneously coping with the difficulties that come with being in the public eye. Being a parent can alter your priorities in ways that you might not anticipate, and this is a fact that is frequently discussed. Due to the fact that Simon has made it clear to us that having Eric was not just about becoming a father, rather, it was about wanting to be in the company of his son for as long as possible. It was at that point that he began to understand that smoking was something that had the potential to impede his progress in that direction. When you start thinking about how smoking affects your ability to be there for the people you love, especially your child, knowing that smoking is bad for you is one thing, but when you start thinking about how it affects your ability to be there for them, it is an entirely different story. The fact that Eric did not have to say anything was sufficient to get Simon to consider leaving. The mere fact that he was there when he was growing up and that he required his father to be physically active and healthy was sufficient to inspire Simon to think. Simon has mentioned in interviews that becoming a father instilled in him a sense of responsibility that he had not previously experienced during his life. At that moment, smoking did not appear to be something that he could legitimately justify anymore. He desired to be a better role model for his son, and in addition to that, he desired to ensure that he was in good health so that he could take pleasure in watching Eric develop into an adult. In addition, as Eric grew older, Simon became more conscious of the potential direct effects that his smoking could have on his son. Due to the fact that children are extremely perceptive, it is not difficult to imagine that Simon would not want Eric to perceive him as someone who relied on cigarettes. Simon's worst nightmare would have been the possibility that Eric would ever actually start engaging in the habit himself. In this way, Eric did not merely motivate Simon to quit smoking for his own health, rather he did so in order to ensure that he was demonstrating the kind of behavior that would prevent Eric from ever being tempted to follow in Simon's footsteps. It is not only about the effects that will occur over the long term. Simon has expressed his desire to be able to run around and play with Eric without becoming exhausted or out of breath. He had expressed this desire in numerous conversations. This is especially true when your child becomes more active, as being a father requires a lot of energy, and smoking can really deplete that energy. Simon aspired to be the kind of father who could keep up with his son, and who could be fully involved in his life without anything preventing him from doing so. Simon was beginning to feel that cigarettes, despite the fact that they had been a regular part of his routine, were becoming more of a challenge than a source of comfort. Without a doubt, giving up smoking is not an easy task. For someone like Simon, who had smoked for such a long period of time, the idea of giving up smoking probably seemed intimidating. This is because smoking is a habit that is deeply ingrained. However, with Eric serving as his inspiration, Simon was able to muster the courage to reduce his consumption and eventually stop entirely. In spite of the fact that it was not an overnight transformation, he eventually came to the conclusion that he should put his family and his health ahead of his previous routines. Simon has expressed how much happier and healthier he feels now that he has stopped smoking, and a significant portion of that happiness stems from the realization that he has successfully made a decision that is beneficial to both himself and his son. It is evident that Eric's mere presence provided Simon with the impetus he required to make one of the most significant changes in his life. This is evident when one considers the past. A new book series that Eric and Simon Cowell will be working on together is about to be released. There is something very intriguing about the concept of Simon and Eric sitting down together to come up with ideas for a book series. Who would have thought that Simon, who is known for being so serious and critical, would be willing to let go of some of that control in order to allow Eric's creativity to flourish? Without a doubt, Simon is the consummate professional. He most likely approaches it with a sense of structure and direction, and he is eager to ensure that they are producing something that will pique the interest of readers. While this is going on, Eric, being a child, most likely has a vivid imagination, which allows him to come up with ideas that are not only fun and playful, but also a little bit off the wall. That, however, is the splendor of it. Simon, who has spent his entire life working in a field where timing, strategy, and public appeal are the most important factors, finds himself in an entirely new creative space. In this new space, his son is guiding him just as much as he is guiding his son. There is no denying the fact that the mere idea of that induces a feeling of warmth and comfort among people. Despite the fact that Simon's influence is undeniably present, perhaps in the manner in which the narrative is organized or in the growth of particular characters, you get the impression that this is a work that was heavily influenced by the collaboration between the father and son. Eric's youthful imagination brings something to the table that Simon simply could not have brought to the table on his own with his own abilities. And in return, Simon's years of experience help shape those wild ideas into something more polished, something that readers of all ages can appreciate. This is something that can be appreciated by his readers. Possibly, Eric's tales are packed with exciting adventures, vivid imaginations, and boundless possibilities. This is the kind of story that prompts Simon to think back to the reasons why people enjoy dreaming in the first place. Simon's involvement in this book series is more than just a job or a step in his professional development. It is a means by which he can establish a more profound connection with his son, have the opportunity to see the world through Eric's eyes, and work together to produce something that will last. It is not going to be solely a result of Eric's inventiveness or Simon's fame. It will be a portrayal of the relationship that they share as father and son. It is possible that readers will pick up the books simply because of Simon's name. However, they will be compelled to read them, and the content will remain with them for the rest of their lives because of the heart and soul that both Simon and Eric have gone into creating them. In terms of Simon's professional life, this book series is more than just a new chapter, a new path, or a new path altogether. His son, the person who is most important to him, is a part of this extraordinary development in his life, which he is writing together with him. With the unanticipated presence of Eric Cowell in their lives, Simon and Lauren have been left with an impression that will last a lifetime. It has demonstrated that true success is not solely determined by what one accomplishes in the public eye, but rather by how one uses their influence to make a positive impact on the lives of others, and that the most significant transformations frequently originate from the heart. From your perspective, which aspect of their son's transformation do you believe had the greatest impact on Simon and Lauren? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.